welcome to Fat Quarter Shop FlossTube. Today we have a lot of new It's Sewama releases, which is super exciting. I think you're going to really love our new charts that we have coming out. We have a lot of progress to show you, so I'm going to show you my progress, and then we're going to show all of our Stitchy Staffers progress, and then we have some demos. We're going to demo the cross stitch calculator that's available at Fat Quarter Shop and how to use it. We're going to show how you can use cloth biddies and jumbo wonder clips to hold your fabric out of the way. And then we're also going to show you how to do the pin stitch. So that is super awesome. Those are things that you asked us to do, so we scheduled those in. And we do have a cross stitch Valentine's sale at Fat Quarter Shop that we're going to talk about. And then of course, I'm going to show you the new items that are in our store. And at the very end, I'm going to show you a really nice crochet blanket I made and see what you guys think of it. I know it's a crochet channel. I know it's a cross stitch channel, but I gotta show my blanket because it's so cute. Okay, so first I wanted to show you the quilting bee. This is my progress on it. And so this is the first shipment. So if you are in the club, this pattern has shipped to you, and with the pattern shipped your needle minder. The floss bling is going to come in the second shipment because that is not arrived yet. This is our prototype, so this is going to come in our second shipment. It's the tomato pin cushion bling, and in April you will get that along with the next chart. I just kind of wanted to talk about my progress on here and my changes. So on here, I changed the sewing machine to St. Bernard for this light blue and Chesapeake Bay for the dark blue. And basically I have everything outlined because I'm going to get on a plane in a couple of days, and so I'm going to do fill-in. So I left this open for fill-in and this open. I'm going to add the words the very last. This is all fill-in. I'm going to, since I did dark blue here, I'm going to reverse the location of these two. So I'm going to put the light blue here and the dark blue here. I'm going to get all of that done, and then on the plane I can just finish, and then when I'm going to go visit Lori next week. So when I go to Lori's house, she's going to pick what color to put here, because since the sewing machine was green here and mine is blue, I don't think I'd want to put blue. And around the little circles, these little flowers, that is a light yellow in here with a dark blue on the inside, if you do it the same way. I think I'm going to do pink little flowers with a dark blue center, so we'll see how that comes out. And I think I'm going to keep the thread the same color as this, and I got a lot of it done. I think it looks pretty good. I really like outlining. I think that outlining has really helped me go a little bit faster, and it just makes it easier. So like this is easy to stitch, you know, you can just do these in little sections. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. If you are a club member of the Quilting Bee Cross Stitch Club, Denise sent you a newsletter on Monday to let you know that the thread packs are in stock, so you guys got first dibs at them. This is what it looks like. So just so you guys know, I'm using the exact same colors. I'm just changing the two greens to two of the blues that are in here. So if you do that, you'll need to order extra skeins of those. But super cute. And in a little bit, we're going to show you the next one. The next one is right here. This one is called Pins and Needles. And Denise stitched the sample, so this is what will be coming to you in April. This right here is stitched on Cream and Sugar Fiber on a Whim 36 count. That's what Lori called for. I'm stitching mine on Pale Gray Gingham 14 count. And each of these releases will have their own thread pack. So the thread pack I just showed you is for this one. We will have a second thread pack for this one. And if you are not in the club, you can buy the pattern and the needle minders in March. So that is what I have there. And just to show you the difference in size, pretty big difference. So just a totally different look. And I haven't decided on the future ones, you know, if I'm going to change any threads or anything. I just kind of go on one by one. What I'm trying to do here is be about a month ahead. I will say I really loved stitching the border. I was actually very like nervous about it and thought it was going to be harder than it was. So that's good that I have that done. So that is the quilting bee. That's our first pattern release. Our second one is the Zinnia's seed packet. There is a question on that last one that I'll answer real quick from Kathy. Kathy asked, on the sewing machine for the smaller fill-ins, do you carry the stitches over to each one? So basically, I just leave an empty opening. And then at the very end, I'm going to come back. Let's see what, oh, this is not the same one. I was going to show that one. But I think I just leave them, I'll stitch, that looks like some loose thread right there. I think it'll be fine. I'm just going to kind of stitch over. I'm not too worried about that. If you join the club now, we will send you month 1. Have I ever stitched on linen? One time, and I never finished it. So that is the extent of my linen, and that's the extent it's going to go. So this is the Zinnia seed packet. It's the very last one in our seed packet series. And if you are in the club, this shipped out to you. The finishing kits are available now, and that finishing kit is by Lady Dot Creates, and it has the fabric for this backing and this rickrack. If you are not in the club, the pattern will go live February 16th. This will be available as paper and PDF. And at the very end, Alicia is going to make a pattern set where you can buy the entire thing as a paper pack or a PDF pack. That will also be available on February 16th. This one was stitched on Natural Rustico 14 count Aida, and there were 12 of these. And Denise did a video, it's called Seed Packet Finishing, and you can find how you finish this on this YouTube channel. So this is the board that we sell. It's called a walnut wooden shelf sitter. Is the seed packet have decided thread numbers? That's a question I see. Oh, I can't show it. On the back, we just give you the Classic Colorworks, if that's what you mean. There's at the very bottom.
When the pattern set goes online, Alicia and Sarah work together of putting all the thread that you would need for all 12 of them.
And where are we going to put that?
Description.
Okay. Can we do it as like an add-on?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Will we have a new series coming out now? Not to replace that one. Our new series that we're focusing on this year is the Quilting Bee, and also the Stitch Quarterly, but that is now sold out. So that's kind of what we focused on this year. And each year we do something a little bit different. Our next new item, you guys are going to flip over this. I think you guys are going to love this. This is a preview only. So you cannot find this on any website yet because literally Cheryl just stitched it and Denise just framed it. And Sarah is charting it. So this is preview only. Please do not search. But it is called Scrappy Americana Flag Cross Stitch Pattern. It is designed by Lori Holt. And this is based off of her quilt that she did. I think it's called Scrappy Flags or Scrappy Americana Flags. So there is a quilt that coordinates with this. So what she wanted to do is make sure that this design fit in an 8 by 10 inch frame. So that is how she decided what fabric to use. We used Oatmeal 14 count Aida by Lori for Zweigart, and there's a modeled side and a non-modeled side. Cheryl stitched the sample on the modeled side, which is what Lori wanted. We will also have a thread pack for this. It's going to have 11 skeins of DMC. So basically what's going to be available is a paper pattern or a PDF pattern, a thread pack, and then Lori is suggesting the Gingham Love thread bling just because it matches, and then using the Farm Fresh egg drops to go on there. And this is a picture frame from Hobby Lobby. The number is 575449, and Jordan picked it out. And it's just a simple, it's just a simple frame from Hobby Lobby. When Lori and Denise were picking out the original frame, they were trying to go with a white or an off-white, and none of it matched. And I think it's just, you just can't match this perfectly. So they went with a blue one. And I actually thought that Denise had painted this, so I was like, oh my gosh, she painted it and distressed it. But she didn't, and I was so confused. But yes, and this one, I think Cheryl did this in like a week and a half.
Yeah, I think it was closer to 2 weeks.
Yeah, maybe 2 weeks, but super easy. And I am going to stitch this one. I'm going to stitch it on the same fabric. I might do it on the non-modeled side just because to be a little bit lighter, but just remember, this is to celebrate the 250th year of America. It's called Scrappy Americana Flag. We will have this online. Let's talk about the process that we do at Fat Quarter Shop and why it's not online. So basically, we design something, and Sarah starts with the design, and she works with Lori back and forth. She talks every day to Lori, and Lori draws and Sarah charts. And then once Sarah charts it, she gives it to Cheryl. Cheryl takes it home and she stitches it. Well, then we have to come back, we have to proof it, and we need to mail this to Sarah to photograph for the front cover to put it online. And I wanted to hold it to show you guys. So today we are mailing this to Sarah so she can get that photograph done, and then that's when everything will go online. You will be able to just purchase the pattern. You won't have to order the floss, that's totally separate. And on this one, Lori listed DMC colors only, just because she didn't do classic color works, because I don't think you would get the definition of these blocks. So what this is, if you're not familiar with the quilt pattern, is these are solid. Right here, these are solid, and then these are solid. And then within there, there's blocks alternating on both the cream and the red. I signed up a day after the house is on Stitchery Lane. Okay, we'll fix this. Just crop in. Can you email Janelle at fatquartershop.com? Take a screenshot of that, please. So we'll take care of that. We are shooting for a release date in March, April. So as soon as we can get it photographed, and also like when we photograph it, we don't just photograph it. We photograph it with props that Lori wants. And then, we go back and forth with that. The fabric for this is oatmeal 14 count even weave. And, I'm sure Lori would have done it on a much smaller count if it wouldn't have fit in an 8 by 10 inch frame. So she really wanted this to be something that you could stitch and then find a frame for and not have to get it custom framed. So very excited about that. And now I'm going to show you some more progress and some finishing stuff. So this is what we featured on January 19th in the video. So this is my finish for Cherry Love. This is a free PDF and this is a paid PDF. They are available only at Fat Quarter Shop. And so if you want to know how to frame this one, the video is called Cherry Love Finishing. The difference in, and then this one was stitched by Denise on Kimberly's Pale Gray Gingham, Kimberly's, I'm trying to find it. The one that you stitched on.
Pink gingham.
Pink gingham, sorry. So this is on pink gingham, this is on gray gingham. And then these are the original samples. This frame is from Hobby Lobby. And so we have that available online. And then if you want to see it, the only thing that I did different is I stitched this in Blushing Beauty instead of Cobbled Peach. And I actually, usually when I'm stitching this stuff for work, I just pull from my stash. And you just needed a tiny bit of pink. So I'm not going to just buy a skein of pink if I have, something already. Oh, and then we have the image that we wanted to show you from Nicole Spohr. So Nicole Spohr, her last name is spelled Spohr. She did a free chart where the cherry comes from our free PDF, and then the text and the border comes from her. If you don't know of Nicole Spohr, she's been in the paper crafting industry for 20 years. She works with Spellbinders and Simon Says Stamp. She cross-stitched years ago, but when she picked it back up in the last 5 years, she started documenting her stitching and quilting on her YouTube channel. And her YouTube channel is Nicole Spohr, Spohr LLC. And so if you want to make that and you want to make it a little bit different, you can make hers super cute. So you would get the text from her, and then there's like a little holographic thing that fills in that you would just get the cherry from us. All of this is hand cross-stitched. Okay, so my next progress is Log Cabin Christmas. So this is my wonderful bag that I got from Como Stitches, and I have my patterns in here. So I finished February. These are not taking very long because of the outline I did. So next time when I see you guys, well, not next time, but in March, I might do this weekend just to get it done, just to have March done. But this one's fun. This one I am stitching on Beautiful Beige 16 count, and there is a thread pack for this. If you're interested, it's called Log Cabin Christmas. The design is by Little House Needleworks. And if you want to add the border right here, which is this outside piece and this white part, the chart we put in our thread pack. If you don't buy the thread pack, you can get that free at Little House Needleworks website. And then that's the bottom. Yeah, Nicole did do a great job with the freebie. Other finishes that I finished February Good Old Days. I don't remember if I've shown you this before. So this is February Good Old Days. All of the Good Old Days, I have now finished all 12. I've only done the three images for each. I didn't do the big chart. These I stitched all with called for colors, and then I did chalkboard black 14 count Aida. And so this one is totally done. And then we're gonna finish them, and then we'll probably leave it at work and then use it for decoration. And then March, I stitched mine from like a draft of the pattern. So you might see that some of my colors are a little bit different than on the chart. That's because I stitched from the prototype or like a draft of the pattern. And then, so if you see colors that are changed, I didn't do anything fancy. I just stitched from the original. And then it's so funny because I was stitching this super fast and I gave it to Alicia and I was like 100% sure I've missed stitches. Oh, I missed a whole line. But it was kind of one of those charts. Do you ever feel like you do stuff and then you miss the half stitch? I was like, oh my gosh.
You want to know a funnier story?
No.
Okay, so she told you missed a line, right? So you stitched all
Did I do
that.
it wrong?
Then you missed 2 stitches. So she's like,
What
you
2
had
stitches?
like these 2 stitches missing.
Oh,
The
Lord.
line didn't go all the way. So Alicia's like, do I give it back to her to do 2 stitches? I was like, no, bring me the thread. I have a needle.
Oh my gosh, I didn't do it right. I had no idea. But you know, sometimes when you, I feel like I'm just doing so much that I don't know if I was just distracted. So yes, Nicole Spohr, thank you for sharing a free pattern for all of us. It's awesome to work with other designers. So yeah, excited. Okay, so I got that done. I feel like I've got a lot done and I'm going to have a lot to live up to the rest of the year. This is Garden of Quilts by Lori Holt. I'm using the called for thread, but I did make some changes. So, I don't think I wrote them down here. Do you know what changes I made? I changed the greens. let me look. We're gonna look so I can tell you because I forgot to write it down. So basically this is a full chart that has the garden across, text, you can add your name, there's your gardening shears, sewing scissors, and then flowers. What I think I'm doing is just this first part, but I might change my mind. So I stitched mine on pale gray gingham 14 count. I kind of stick with the same fabric over and over. This is the needle minder that matches it. So I changed the 2 greens, and I'm going to read you what I did. Okay, the light green, I'm using 4-leaf clover, and the dark green, I'm using little sprout, and then the spools, I changed to brown hen. Now, when I do this, what I do when I start stitching is I just stitch, and if I don't like the color, I get up and I go to my room and I have this big stash of thread, and it's actually like a ball of thread. It's all thrown together. I really have to organize it. It's on my list of things to do, but I don't buy extra thread. I just go and then try different thread. And these are the 2 greens that I use with most of Priscilla and Chelsea stitching with the housewife chart. So of course I have a ton left over. But I'm so excited because let me show you the original compared to mine. And I'm using these. These are so cute. These are going to sell out. These are the Stitchy Spools Floss Drops. Okay, so here's the original sample. And Cheryl stitched this one, or you? Cheryl stitched this one. Okay, so this is the original sample that is stitched on 36 count Edinburgh linen by Fiber on a Whim. So that's what's called for. And like I said, I used 14 count. So you can see the difference in the size. Let me move this so you can see the difference in the size. Let's see. So mine is to here. Let's see. So mine is, you know, this is where it ends here, but mine is bigger, so it's here. And I think I'm just gonna frame it in a rectangular frame. But you know, it'd be really cute if you turned it into a pillow, but in my house, I don't think I can trust my children with pillows anywhere because they like to throw them at each other's heads. So, but what's exciting is now we can show you Lori's progress on Garden of Quilts. And if you didn't see her, we had a live stream with her where we featured all of her stuff. So this is how she has her spools, her Stitchy Spool drops. So she has those on her ring. Those are the 5.0 magnifying glasses. And if you look, she stitches from the right to the left. So I just showed you left to right. She stitches the opposite way. And that's how she does her design board. She keeps them rolled up like that. And then you can just go back. She doesn't put them back on the ring. So that's super exciting. The next thing I worked on is Farm Yard Friends, also by Lori Holt. So this one, we have a chart. This is going to be April, and then May is somewhere else. It's all on the blog. But I really have just been wanting to stitch a variety of things. And like I said, I really enjoyed outlining. I have no idea why, but I'm kind of obsessed with it. So I just outlined all the animals and as much as I could because I thought, you know, that'll make it easy. I can just fill in, you know, if like right now I could just do the star and then I just fill the whole pig in. But I thought it would be really fun. I did start this one super early since it's February, and obviously this doesn't start as a stitch along until April. It ends in March of 2027. But I just, you know, I'm just trying to stay ahead so I have more room in my schedule to add more things. I still haven't decided what I'm going to do on the cow because obviously none of the black is stitched. I don't think I'm going to use black. I'll definitely use a dark gray. It'll be hard to find a gray that goes with this fabric because this is brown. So I'm going to kind of leave that to the expert in the room, which is Cheryl and Denise, and we'll probably find something that will work with this. And I'll use whatever black here, whatever I use here for the spots, I'll use for the head of the sheep also. And then one tip for outlining is, for Bex from Texas, if you outline, you can do a half stitch all the way around, and then you know you met up with the right amount, and then you do this, the second X back around. So that's one way to not be, you know, if you're worried about being off. And you know what? I've stitched before where I'm 1 or 2 stitches off. Nobody's gonna know. Like if there's, you know what I mean? Like my star, I try to get it exactly where it is, but if you're 1 stitch off, especially on something like this, I don't think you're gonna notice. And since I think that's, you know, I always try to do something new every year, but this has just been very therapeutic for me to just like stitch. And one thing I started doing was, okay, if I pulled off one strand, one skein, like one strand from the skein of white, I was like, I'm gonna use that whole thing. Or if I open this, I'm gonna use the whole thing. That's kind of what I'm trying to do, so then I don't have to put anything back on my floss drops. So that's Farmyard Friends. Oh, and I'll show you the original. This one was stitched by Cheryl. So, and this is of course designed by Lori Holt. So I just want to show you the difference. The called for fabric is Pebble 25 count, and I'm using Venetian stone. So 25 count is actually bigger than the 14 count, but it's not, let me see, it's not too much bigger, it's just slightly, like maybe 1/8 of an inch. So it's very similar. Well, I guess overall it's gonna be probably 1 inch smaller, maybe 1/2 inch smaller. And then I totally forgot I did this, and in fact, I thought I did a lot more. So when I saw it yesterday, I was so disappointed. This is the Quilted Farm Girl. This one, the sew along starts in February, so we're in February, and this is one where we're just encouraging you to stitch as you go. And so I stitched this part. The last time you saw it was here. On this one, I want to outline, but I have not decided. You guys can maybe help me decide. I want to change her dress to denim. So I'm thinking I'm going to make her dress denim, make the basket gray, and then her boots, I don't know, because I don't know. I'm just going to change some of the colors. So the reason I haven't outlined here is because I'm nervous about what color to do. So you guys can let me know. For Sheila, she asked, do you recommend doing the outlines on most cross-stitch patterns? I think that's a personal choice. I've just been doing it because it makes it easy for me to pick something up and fill in. Like if I'm really tired at night and I'm like, you know what? My goal is to take 6, you know how when you pull it off the skein, you get 6 strands in each. I try to do at least 2 full strands a day. And so if I'm tired, if I have something that's filled in, I can just pick it up and I can get those stitches in without having to think or anything like that. I didn't change the green, did I? I did change the green. Did I change the green? I don't know if I did. Yeah, I did. Okay, I wrote it down though. So on this one, I did steamed broccoli instead of pine needles for the dark. And then I did little sprout here. I actually think that steamed broccoli is way too dark. And I might pull it out. What do you think, Denise? I think it's kind of dark. Denise?
I'm looking.
Oh, she's looking. She's like, I don't know.
I mean, I don't think it looks bad.
You don't think it looks bad? And then Michelle says a denim dress would be cute. I think the boots should stay the color they are. That's great. Daisy for the boots. Denim and daisy goes well together. 2 strands a day tip, yes. Leave the boots like they are. Super cute. I did go to the rodeo last week. That's a whole funny story. But I did go to the rodeo, like a real rodeo, and I had to stay the whole time, and I was about to die. It was actually fun, but I actually really liked it. It was with Emma's, some of her friends, and one of the dads, he knew all the different things, and so he was explaining to us, like, what was actually going on, because I mean, I've been to a rodeo, but like all the things, it was like a very, very detailed rodeo. They had a lot of things. And then the little kids were so cute when they chased the sheep. It was so cute. Okay, so you guys let me know. Do you think I should change the green? This is the original coloring here. Really tealy boots. That would be cute. Yeah, so I don't know. I'll ask Cheryl and see what she thinks. I mean, it's probably fine once I get more done. Indie Quilter says, Lori's patterns are the best. I'm a farm girl, grew up on a farm, married a farmer. What a great life here in North Dakota. Oh, awesome. And then this is the sample that Cheryl stitched. The sample is stitched on, let's see, Farmhouse 25 count. And that's a Lori Hole fabric. And then I wanted to show you this before all of our sample staffers or Stitchy Staffers come on. Okay, this was the stitching roundabouts from January from Stitching with the Housewives, and I just really love these, and I haven't made them yet. So selfishly, I said, can we borrow them to show, because I know you guys would love them. Now, I do think that this is still on my list to do. So there are 4 different patterns. They are available as PDF only, and thank you to Priscilla and Chelsea for letting us borrow the samples to show you. These were all stitched on 28 count white Monaco. So I'm going to show them to you. And on the so this is the little stand it comes on, and the number for this is on the back of their pattern. These are so cute. This really makes me want to stitch them. So I just thought you guys would love to see those. And I love how when she uses the, oh, that's the thread. When she uses the sticky circles, she makes her design a little bit bigger so it wraps around. I don't know if you did this and if it was square, if it would look good. I don't think it would. So I think you would, you could find a circle frame. You know how some of the frames have circle openings? That might work. But what I'm hoping is that I can add this to my stitching at some point. Now there are some long stitches in here, so you can see right there and there, here and here, and then here. These frames are from Hobby Lobby. The number is 2123131. And I think she said they were in a weird section of the store. They weren't where the normal frames are. So I would watch Stitching with the Housewives, and she'll tell you exactly what section she found them in, because I can't remember exactly what she said. So there we go. Now I'm going to introduce Alicia, and she's going to show you all of her stitching progress. And if you have questions, just pop them in and she will answer them as we go.
Good morning, everybody. I'm first going to start with my 2 Halloween pieces, which honestly, if I have to say, if I'm being truthful, I have not picked up stitching that much because I've been in sewing world. I've been learning how to sew, so that's been taking up a lot of my time. But for this first piece, I'm doing The Summoner by Autumn Lane's Stitchery. And this one is honestly giving me a headache. Like I told my husband that I would do this for him, but I'm like, I don't even know if I'll finish it. I think stitching, because this is 28 count, and I'm having to really focus because you have to stitch over 2, right? And I started stitching on 14 count, so this one's really giving me a headache, but I
You
told
could
him
always go back and pick a 14 count
and
to
just
do
start
it,
over.
and just start over and
I
save
know.
that for something else.
It
I
looks
know.
so good though.
Yeah.
I really do like this fabric, like the color. This is Heather, 28 count by Fiber on a Whim. But that is all that I've done for that one. And then for Edgar Allan Poetry, I'm doing this on Spooky Hollow Lighter, 18 count by Fabric Flare. And so my goal for this one is just to keep going down and doing the branches, and then I'll start filling in slowly. But like I said, I've been in sewing world, so stitching has not been top of my list. I did finish, though, the Shepherd's Year February which this one I'm enjoying. I love doing these. These are so cute to me. So I did finish this one. And I did want to mention that we got in, I think it was April and May. We got in the last 2 patterns of this series, so now we carry a whole set of all of the months. So January, February, March, April, May, June, July. I really like this one. August, September, October, November, and December.
So which ones have you stitched so far?
December, January, and February.
Okay.
So this is February. This one was January. And this one is December. And I have decided, after talking to Denise, I'm going to finish them as a pillow. And so I pulled this layer cake, Swiss Dots by Riley Blake. And I'm going to be using that as the back fabric. And so for December, I picked this kind of deep, doesn't really look that deep on camera, but it kind of matches this color here on the stitching. So I'm going to be doing that for the background. For January, I have 3 different blues, which this one looks lighter in person than on camera. It kind of almost matches these stitches there. Or this lighter blue, which I'm kind of leaning towards this one. Or I have these darker denim colored ones, but for the outside of the pillow, I'm going to be doing pom-poms. So these are by Lady Dot Creates. And so I'm thinking for this one, since the pom-poms are dark, I might just do the lighter blue because I don't want it to match too much. So that's going to be the back, or I'll probably do this one for the back of the fabric.
Are you gonna do pom-poms on each of them?
Yes. And we're out of stock. I did pull the pink pom-poms for February or for December to compare, but the pink is too bright. It's like a bubblegum kind of pink. And so for February, I'm probably gonna do one of these 2 pinks, which I might do the lighter pink. I really like light colors, so that's what I have for my progress and finishing. And then I am going to start Pink Coat Santa by Teresa Kogut, and I'm going to be doing it on pink sand, 28 count by Woodchelt. So
good.
I'll be doing that one too. And then on top of Nashville releases, I have a list going of what I want to do.
And then Denise is gonna do a video on finishing the pillows, right?
She's using the tutorial that I did
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
from Cherry Love.
So
Okay,
I'm
perfect.
going to try to do it this weekend at home to see if I can do it. I'll
Oh,
do
you can
one
do
of
it.
them. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. We'll see.
I gave her tips on working with the pom-pom tape.
Denise is only a text message away.
I know. I'm like, I'll FaceTime her. But that is all I have for my progress and
Thank you.
completions.
Now Shelly's gonna come and show you. She has a lot of finishes. She has a big old stack. You're good.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. I'm gonna get started with 2 finishes. Denise, you're probably gonna wanna
Oh, yeah. I'll
jump in
slide
here
over.
on this one. So Denise finished these for me. Here's the, oh, I went the wrong way. Here's the Valentine Terrarium from Tiny Modernist. And so I picked out, this is the Funny Valentine fabric by Lizzie House from Moda. I love Lizzie House, I always have. So I was excited that she had a Valentine line. Do you want to talk about what you
did?
did? Because
Oh,
this is not.
So for the main piece, I left a 3/8 inch margin because I wanted to really see the dots since the fabric was detailed. And then I did a bigger backing board because I added the vintage trim. So when you add the vintage trim, it takes up about 1/4 to 3/8 of an inch. So I have to keep that in mind because I want 1/2 inch here showing. So I added probably about, I cut this piece maybe about like 5/8 bigger than this one just to account for that. And then for the back, we had intention of doing a flat fold, but instead I just did a backing on here to cover, you know, the mess of folding over. And I did this an 1/8 inch smaller. And then I ended up 3D printing an acrylic stand, or filament stand, I should say, that you slide through the opening that I left here. And I did a tutorial using Yarn Tree's version of this. I just needed a base a little bit bigger because this ended up kind of getting like top heavy. But that way it can stand wherever Shelly decides to display it. And then I didn't have to have like another fabric board, then a fabric tab at the bottom, and she would have extra fabric. So that's this one.
The vintage trim, we do sell the large and the small. Do you know what color that one is?
No.
I think it's peony.
I had like 3 of them. Like I had a red, a white, and then there's 2 pinks that Lori has. I went with the lightest pink that she had. Let me see if it's this one.
If it's
Yes, it's peony. It's peony.
For one time, I guessed something right.
So I ended up laying all 3. Like I had one color before I put anything on. I put one color here, and then I put the other pink, and then I put the white. And then I called a second pair of eyes in, which in this case is Jordan, and I had him look at it just to make sure I wasn't making the wrong decision. You know, I could have texted you, Shelly, and be like, hey, which one do you like?
I think Jordan had it. He had it figured out.
But yes, okay, you can continue.
And as a reminder, these are DMC colors, and I use the 14 count gray dot by Stitchy Staffers on this one.
And she did have leftover fabric from the piece that she stitched that on, so it's literally the same size, the leftover fabric. So when I cut it off, I ended up saving it because she had said that she wanted to stitch maybe another one of the charts on.
So yes, you can get 2 side by side, and on the same piece of gray dot, I have this one that Denise also finished for me over the weekend. Oh, I can't do this. Why can't I do this today? Let's see here. Okay, this is the Big Hearted Tiny Town by Heart and Hand. So she did everything the same. On this one, we finished it. We used Funny Valentine again by Lizzie House, and we I chose this fabric from the line because it has little postage stamps on it, and there's a little postage box. And you know, you like to send your Valentines when you're a kid for Valentine's. That's why I chose that one. And I did do this one with DMC. I used the DMC colors on this one. And again, Denise printed 2 more of these. This one was a little bit longer, so she needed 2 to make sure it was stable.
And so we do sell some acrylic stands like that from Yarn Tree, but they don't hold as much as these do. So Denise made some that are thicker so that it wouldn't be floppy.
So thank you, Denise.
Yes, you're welcome.
I love them.
This
Okay,
stand.
show the back.
Oh.
That's so cute.
It's so cute. Love this line. Okay, and I'll go ahead and I'll show you. We do have this fabric in now from Stitchy Staffers. So we have it in the 14 count Ada, which is what I use. And just as a reminder, I can fit 2 terrariums up on the top, and then I did across the bottom, I did the tiny town. So I have 1 piece. That's that one. We also got in a 16 count. Looks like we have a 27 count Linda, and we got in a 32 count linen. This is pretty. They're all pretty. These are pretty.
leave those out.
Mm-hmm.
Same way with hand dyed, even though this is screen printed, the base of the fabric still changes the color and how the printing takes. So if you look at, you can see it here on camera still that this is the Ada, and then this is the Linda, I believe. You can tell like it's just a little bit lighter. Still a very great color, but as always, keep that in mind.
This one almost takes in a super light blue hue in person. Is it, see, there's a question. Is it crunchy? It starts crunchy. The 14 count and the 16 count, they definitely start crunchy. It's nice and stiff. It's so easy to stitch on, and then it softens up as you're working with. But it's very easy to work on this fabric. The thread just glides right through.
And then do you stitch 1X at a time? Or do you?
No, I go across and come back.
She stitches in rows just like I do.
Okay, that's right. Okay, okay. Let me see what's next.
And I would say Digistitchery, the stiffness is about the same as Fabric Flare. That's what I would compare it to.
Yes, yes. Not as stiff as Witchell, but yeah, Fabric
Yeah.
Flare. That's a good.
And I want to say Digistitchery, her base is Weigart fabric. So if if you have any sort of Zweigart straight from them, it has that same feel to it.
Okay. Next, I finished stitching the Halfway Happy by Heartstring Samplery. This was a really easy one because there are very few color changes. And this one, I was able to stitch this one quickly. I did use the called for color, so I used the fancy floss, but I didn't do the fancy floss method. I still did my method of rows back and forth, but you can see a little bit of variegation in the trees. This is DMC down here, but this up here are all the fancy floss, and I think you can see a bit of it through the trees and the leaves. This one, again, is 16 count stone by Fiber on a Whim. And like I just said, I did the called for colors.
There is a story with it. Doesn't that use quarter stitches? Was this your first time
Oh yes,
with that?
this was the first time I didn't know what I was looking at on the pattern because I had to text Cheryl and say basically what am I looking at here? And there's quarter stitches all around for her hair, and there's some in her socks. And I will say, on the Ada, because you're stitching over one, it wasn't the easiest, but I think it worked out. And her hair is kind of like her head had been shaved, and so I like how it turned out. It took
turned out
a little
really
bit of
good.
practice at first, and then I figured out what I was doing, but completely clueless why I had one square with 4 different symbols in it, and I was just no idea what I was doing there.
That's when we phone a friend.
That's right. Okay, and let's see. Next, I have Stitching Progress.
You're almost done.
It's so close. Oh. Okay, The Tea Goddess by Tiny Modernist. Let's see here. So all I have left is to do, there we go. There's a puppy paw print. I have a new puppy who comes from outside over the couch where I'm stitching to jump in my lap when he comes back in. Is very excited, and we've got a little paw print. I think it's continued on the back. This was rolled up when I was stitching. So I just need to finish this. It sort of looks like a wisteria. This strand of flowers over here, the big yellow here, the butterfly, and then we're going to put a teacup in her hand.
How is Denise going to finish this one for you?
This one will probably go, you just assume? Yes, Denise will be finished. I've put all the other goddesses in frames, so
Oh,
I
that's
think
right.
this one will be
I want to say
In
the
a
frames
frame.
are what, like 11 by 14 or 16
as
by
well.
20?
How many have
I-
you stitched so far?
I've stitched 3 of them.
So
2
maybe
have
when you
been
bring that
framed
one, you
and-
can bring all 4.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Did you use the same frame on all of them?
No, I thrift frames,
Oh, that's
and
right.
then we sort of make it work. Denise makes it work on these. Before I forget, this is the 14 count Lemon Zest by Fabric Flare that I'm using. It's gotten very soft, very nice to work on. And Tiny Modernist, I use the DMC colors.
I have two questions. The first one being, do you zigzag your edging? Or you do pinking shears?
No, this was, excuse me, I did pinking shears on this one. And, I've got a couple of little flying strands. It was an experiment, but that has worked well on this one. I haven't had to deal with that a lot.
So like,
on this one.
I just noticed that the cuts were different when you had showed it. I would never have thought to use,
This?
yeah.
Yeah,
Do this?
I use pinking shears.
So
I've never even heard of that.
Shelly essentially used these like pinking shears.
And you just went right
And
on
you
the
just cut.
edge?
You can tell I cut it because it's a little wonky in spots, but yeah, I just figured out and
That's a good idea.
cut it down. This was a big piece of fabric and I didn't want to have all of that in my lap.
Now,
So-
my second question, I saw someone asked what all we were looking forward to at Nashville, the market releases. Is there one in particular you're
yeah,
eyeing?
there's a new goddess, and she's at the top of my list. That'll be one that'll probably get stitches put in it. It's so cute.
Yeah,
It's so cute, and she's got little glasses on and little books, and
she has little cakes, I think.
yeah, it's just
cute.
it's so cute.
What's her name?
The book goddess?
The book goddess, I think, is what they're
Oh,
calling it. Yeah, the book.
Do you read?
What?
Do you read?
Do I read? Yes. I was like, in general, or what do we? Yes. And I see somebody asked, do I work in hoop or hand? Is that for me? I always use a hoop.
Yeah.
I always use a nerd hoop.
I think I'm the only one that doesn't. Do you use a hoop? Everyone in here uses a hoop except me.
I don't think I would be good keeping my tension consistent each day due to my stress, with any like stressors and stuff. Like, I don't think I could.
Okay, so now I'm going to show you, I'm adding on to my to-do list for the year. I've decided that I'm going to stitch the houses on Stitchery Lane. That's what it's called, right?
Stitchery House.
This one's Stitchery House, and it's the houses on Stitchery Lane by Pansy Patch Quilts and Stitchery. I'm going to stitch it on a 16 count sugar cream pie by Bestitch Me, and I'm going to do the DMC colors. So that's what we've got here. I am going to do the entire, if you go to her website, she has, she's got a border for the whole thing, so you can do everything with a border. I'm gonna do it this way. So, it would, on the 16 count, it would work out to 17 3/8 by 21 3/4 inches. So we have ordered this in half yard cuts. So this is on the way in half yards, and that's, I'll wait to start until I get that. And I have decided, I went ahead and downloaded the border placement. I do believe I'm gonna put in all of the border first, because I just get scared that I'll get to the end and something won't be quite right. So I'll be happier having the border completely
Does
finished.
she list DMC and Fancy Floss or just DMC?
Yes, she lists both. It's stitched with Fancy Floss, but then she lists the DMC back here for you.
Oh, someone's using sugar cream pie too for houses on Stitchery Lane.
Oh, nice.
There have been many visits of trying to
match.
figure out the fabric.
Yes, we've looked at a lot of fabric. And what else was I going to say? Oh, I guess that's everything. Oh, we do have a club for this that you can sign up for, and we'll ship it to you as soon as they get here. It started in January. This one is up on our website that you can grab, and then this will run through September, the 9 houses. Okay. I'm going to stick this in here because I don't want these to get separated.
With your thread, how do you store your thread once you start?
Cheryl, would you grab me that floral bag by the couch, and I'll. Thank you.
Show your whole bag. Everyone wants
Oh.
to see the inside. I want to see.
It's quarterly bag, and I've got, this is, so what I'm showing you is the bag I'm using for the tea goddess. So I picked a fun little floral bag.
Do you
to
match
put
your
this in.
bags to your projects?
Yes, I do. I tend to. Cheryl got this for me. It was made by Creative Carol Designs, and it's a thread keeper. And so this is how I keep my threads
That's so cute.
when I'm
You
sewing.
keep it so nice and organized.
I can't.
Do you pull from the DMC and just leave everything on the DMC?
Yes.
Like you don't put it on a thread?
So I keep in my bag another little bag that has the skeins on it, and I just pull a length. It goes in here, and then these go back in my little bag. And then I keep a bag of supplies that whatever project I'm working on, this bag always transfers between all of my bags, everything I would need to stitch with.
Open it and show everything in it.
Oh goodness, let's see what's, so I have my thread floss bag for my little leftover strands, and just like Kimberly and we all do, I even keep the longer stuff in here in case I miss a stitch or I miss something. I have all my little bits to go in and fill in a spot. What do we have in here? This is what I keep my needles in. I'm not gonna know what some of this, it's got a magnet in the bottom, and so you put your needles.
It's the Dritz needle storage
Dritz needle,
too.
okay. Like this guy.
I think it comes 3 to a pack.
I keep this Creative Grids, little tiny ruler, be easier to see on here, in here, and this is how I find where I'm gonna start my projects. I pretty much just keep it, I just keep it with this size, and that's where I start my projects.
Good idea.
Yeah.
I keep 2 pairs of scissors in
Never
here.
know if it's gonna fail you.
I never,
might need
I
10.
don't want to lose one.
Yes.
So these are our sweet snips, the 3.5 inch.
Yes.
Is that the smallest size? And
Someone also asked earlier in stream what is a good travel scissor for the airport that won't get confiscated through like going through TSA. And so far, I have traveled with both of those
Yes.
scissors. So has Kimberly. I know she takes the Sweet Snips ones. Cheryl too travels, and all of them. We've never had our scissors confiscated. by
And one
them.
thing that's really bad about me, and I always think about it right when I'm going through, I always have 2 or 3 scissors in a bag. I have no idea why. And one time I went through and I literally had 3 scissors, and I thought, I'm gonna get caught. I'm gonna get caught. And I was with Kevin, and I was like, he's gonna make fun of me. I'm gonna get caught. I didn't get caught. I was so relieved. Cause like, you know, he likes to joke around, and I was like, I don't wanna give him any reason to make fun of me.
okay, this is a, what is the word? This
debated topic.
debated topic among us. I keep a seam ripper in here. I love our clover pink. It's so sharp. And if I have messed up a large area, I seam rip it out. I don't do them individually. I just gently pull up on it and go under slowly and seam rip out entire rows and then pull them out.
And by controversial, I'm just too scared to try it.
That's the word.
I'm
controversial.
not brave enough to try it, but it's also, I think it's because I know that I'm too rough, and I don't try. I would poke right through that Ada.
Okay, what else is in here that I
Do that
use?
slowly, and that's not in your book.
Yeah, slow is not in my vocabulary.
I keep clover clips in here to fold the fabric back. Cheryl's going to show you more about that in just a bit. And I keep a pencil if I'm going to make any changes. You know, sometimes I like to laminate my projects, so I keep a dry erase marker in there to mark things off if I want to, just to show me an area that I finished with or to make a note on it. I keep this, is this a floss fairy wand? So after I seam rip out my rows, I use this to brush away both ends, and it just pulls
Magically
out
goes.
whatever I've done. And then, this is something I use all the time, an unstitcher. This is for when I just need to, I don't need to pull out the whole thing, I just need to go back a few. I find this works really well. And keep that in there. So that's all my stuff.
I feel like maybe I need to do that where I have a second bag that's like the supplies, but I have so many bags, I'd have like 10
Like 10
bags
bags,
of
yeah.
supplies and then I would lose them.
I'll show what I do. I have one bag that has like 6 projects in there. And I just keep it, yeah, but that'll be later.
But Denise is kind of a little bit more organized than me, or she's more, like, I forget a lot of little things and Denise does not forget little things. Are you stitching the houses on Stitchery Lane as one piece or individually?
One piece. I'm gonna put the border in first and then fill in the houses. And then the last thing always in my bag is I love Nerd Hoops. And I don't know why I tend to stick with the pink one. I have a lot of the colors, but I always stick with the pink one. Okay. I don't know where I was. What was I doing? Let's see. Oh, okay.
Plans,
I'm
maybe?
showing 2 more plans I've got here. So these just arrived. We have the King of Hearts and Stitches from Tiny Modernist. And I remembered that we have smaller cuts of the 14 count Morganite from Fiber on a Whim. They're 14 by 14 and this is perfect. So I'm gonna start this on here. I pulled some of the colors this morning. This isn't everything, pulled some of the colors and I think it's gonna be great. And I think this will be a fast stitch looking at taking a look at it this morning.
That was
So,
good.
gonna get that one started.
Shelly, while you're putting that back up, what floss is used on the Stitchery Lane houses?
I believe it's a combo of fancy.
Trying to find the pattern.
Oh, here's the pattern. This is my pile is piling up. Okay, they use a mix of what is GA?
Gentle Arts.
Gentle Arts, Classic Colorworks, and Weeks Dye Works.
Okay.
Oh, it's right there. Yeah, Gentle Art. Good mix. And then my last, what came in yesterday also, is a new tree from Tiny Modernist, the Neverland tree. I was never like a huge Peter Pan fan. I wasn't not a fan, but I just think the colors in this are just great. This blue, the little I love it. So I'm going to do this one on 16 count Milk and Honey from Fiber on a Whim. And pull the fabric, pull the color, the threads this morning, and there we go. I think that's going to be great.
Leave that fabric there for a minute. Someone had asked Jordan, can you find the question what the base fabric is for Be Stitch Me? And a way to tell is in the selvage, there's a red thread that runs that signals that it's Weigart. So both Fiber on a Whim and Be Stitch Me, their starting base fabric is Weigart, and then they dye on top of that. Do they
Yeah.
feel different?
No.
Or no?
They feel the same.
Okay.
They feel the same. Okay. The last thing I'm going to do this morning is show you all, we have a cross stitch calculator on our website. If you scroll all the way down on our homepage under Learning Center, you'll see we have the cross stitch calculator. And so let's take a pattern. So this will help you, figure out how much fabric you're going to need, figure out when you're trying to figure out what you want to sew it on. So we find the stitch count, 142 by 190, put that in. And then you choose what you're going to sew it on. My favorite to sew on is 16 count, so I'm going to choose that. And then you tell it how many inches. It'll go ahead and work out the math for you to tell you what kind of a border that you'd like. I tend to leave about 2 inches. Hit calculate, and it tells you right here. Here's your finished size 8 7/8 by 11 7/8. So you'll need to cut your fabric 12 7/8 by 15 7/8. Tells you what size needle Kimberly suggests and how many strands to use. So I just have to make sure I've gotten fabric that's this size. I chose the Milk and Honey, which is 18 by 28, so I am good to go.
And do you, when you cut down your fabric, do you use those exact measurements, or you kind of like round up? Since it's 7/8, do you cut at the 13-inch?
Yeah, I'll round it up to the 13th, and I'll unfold it and I'll look at it and figure out which way to orientate it, which
Yeah.
will
Like
leave
the
me a
modeling.
piece. The modeling, and then, you know, also if I want to, I have something smaller to work on in the future, what is the best way to cut it? That would leave me a nice shape to work with.
What
And
border size do you usually use?
I tend to do about 2 inches. Just stick with the 2. Okay. Are there any other questions?
Your needle, what needle do you use? Your needle.
Oh, my needles? My favorite needle.
She's digging through her bag
Dig
of
it
goodies.
in the bag again.
I'll put this out of the way.
I don't.
Do you have a little tube?
I don't. I did. I made sure it was in here yesterday, and there may have been some puppy in my bag last night, which it gets turned over a couple of times. And I use the petite. Is it Milliner's Needles by Colonial?
Shelly
So-
uses the Colonial Petite Tapestry needle, size 26.
Size 26. I didn't have a favorite needle, and Denise asked me recently, and I was like, I don't know. I just use needles, and she brought me a whole bunch of different packages, things to try, and I was like, I'm not going to try these. These are silly. These are too little. I love it. It's become my favorite when I'm wanting to do something fast. I will say I drop them a lot more than I do my other needles, so there's a lot under my couch, I feel sure, at home, but I feel like I can stitch a little bit faster, and then I like to play thread chicken pretty regularly.
I do that often.
I just do it all the time, and you're good to go. You need very little thread to finish at the end of a piece of thread, so
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't know where. They come in this cute little tube, and it's probably under the couch as well. so, okay, that is everything from me this morning. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Shelley.
Here, I'm going to help you.
And then Cheryl has a big stack also. And thank you to everybody who's putting comments on their favorite needles. I think that's such a personal choice. And everybody's so different. And I even feel like year to year I might change my mind.
I think as we progress in stitching or just in life, we tend to change.
Agree. Good morning. All of these women, new stitchers and longtime stitchers, are putting me in the shade today. I will start, actually had a customer email me and ask a couple of questions, so I'll try to answer those first. And one question that I had a few weeks ago that I realized I didn't ever respond to. I responded via email, but I didn't mention on Livestream. I had a question about what I do with my fabric, or how to prepare my fabric before I start stitching. And the only thing that I do to prepare fabric is, no matter what fabric it is, if it's a linen, an even weave, I always give it a really good press before I start stitching. So I don't have those crease lines. Sometimes, especially with linen, you have really strong crease lines where it's been folded. So that's my suggestion about fabric preparation. That's all I do to prep the fabric, but I do give it a really, really good press before I ever start. And then one specific question was if I would show a big piece of fabric. So this will kind of be two things at once. I will say I've had one finish in 2026 so far, and it wasn't one of mine. It was the scrappy Americana flag. And so personal stitching, there has not been much yet, because I also have this model stitch, which is the next house in Lori's hometown neighborhood, and it is titled Flag House. But here was one question: when I have a large piece of fabric, which typically I do, I typically don't cut my fabric to begin stitching. I wait and cut it down later. So this one is in the hoop. It literally has a threaded needle here, because here is where I stopped last night at midnight when I was watching a basketball game and decided I had to go to bed. So that's why there's a needle. We talked about the large Wonder Clips. You can use small as well. I just really prefer the large ones to gather my fabric. You can gather it up any way you like. You can roll it from the side. It's just that this little bit right here last night was getting in my way, so I don't really try to be careful about how I roll it up. Just roll it up, put a clip on there. The only downside to me is I'm used to using these, so I don't do it often. But when you're stitching, if you have it rolled up here and you're right-handed, sometimes your thread might catch. You kind of have to watch and don't let it catch there. So another thing you can use is our cloth biddies. And same thing. They have the magnet on the end. And this way you don't really have, and you can, move it over to any, just get it situated however works best for you. Using this method, you don't have anything sticking out here to catch your thread on. So these are our cloth biddies. And right now this is the only design we have, right? Just this one. Another thing that I occasionally will do, I haven't tried it on this fabric, so I tried it on a linen piece I was working on the other night. And my magnet stuck here, so. You can also use a needle minder. Let's see, this fabric is a 25 count Lugana, so it might be a little bit thick, but let's try it and see. I have another needle minder. I'd never use needle minders as needle minders. But see, if you have a needle minder and you're a needle minder user especially, it serves a dual purpose. So you can also use needle minders. You would need one with a stronger magnet or one that's a little bit larger if you have a lot of fabric and you have several faux there. And then the very first of this type that I started using are just the cable. They're actually cable ties. You can get big packs of them from Amazon, and I think they come in a couple of different lengths, but same thing as the cloth biddies. And I usually prefer that over a clip, but as you saw, I had a clip on this one last night. It's whatever closest and handiest, but this was most of my progress since our last FlossTube. I finished Americana Scrappy Flag and then moved on to this one. So you will see that I do not have a lot of progress on anything. Here's a Nerge hoop that I just clipped these on just to show you. I think the large clips would not be, if you use a Q-snap, I don't think they would work. I don't think they open wide enough. I don't use Q-snap, so I haven't tried one. I should have tried. But obviously, the cloth biddies and this kind of magnet or your needle minders you could use easily if you use Q-snaps. So there is my progress on the flag.
And the bottom,
House.
you don't fold that up
I
anyway.
don't fold it up. It doesn't, if I have this out of my way, the bottom doesn't ever get in my way. But you certainly could do it exactly the same way. Just roll it, clip it, and if it's easier for you to handle, that's the beauty of it. Whatever seems to work the best for you, whatever's easiest for you, whatever you have.
What is that hoop size? Is that Nerge?
This Nerge,
No, the one on the.
this is a
piece.
Morgan hoop, and I go
Morgan,
back and forth. I use the Morgan hoops a lot. I use the Nerge, and it really just depends on, sometimes I choose one over the other because of the shape of the design or the size.
Do you take the hoop off at night when you're done stitching?
Absolutely. I never leave a hoop on overnight. Well, never say never. I have occasionally, but no, not often. And that was another question I had, was about that. So some people do. If you're going to work on a piece, say 2 weeks from now, and it's going to sit in the hoop for 2 weeks, I wouldn't advise that at all. But it's habit for me. So yeah, when I finish for the day and put my stitching away, my hoop always comes off. And also, I had a question. I didn't bring a piece. I think that I could really show that, but I had a question from a customer about using 2 strands, like when you're using fancy floss, or if you do the loop method with DMC. In stitching, occasionally when you get close to the end of the strand, sometimes the ends will not be even. And I was asked about that. That doesn't bother me. That does happen to me also. It's like one strand will be a tiny bit longer than the other. And I think it's probably as you stitch, after you've done quite a few stitches, one thread might lay a little bit on top of another or something, and it makes a tiny bit of difference in the length. That has never caused me a problem and doesn't bother me. So hopefully that sort of answers your question. Okay, so then my progress, we'll start with my, and see, here's a big piece of linen again, so I do always usually use the magnets. Let me fold it up a little bit so that, and here is the pattern. Sorry, I do that nearly every time. So I will work on this. I would like to finish it in 2026. We will see. Since you saw it last, I put these 2 little stars here in the border. I added this tree. I added these 3 stars, A, M, E, and started on the R, and then there are the 2 flags underneath. So let's see, right here. I also, when I'm stitching, typically, if I have my hoop on, I will kind of stitch things that are within that rather than move my hoop constantly. So sometimes that's why you will see, well, you didn't finish this. No, I ran out of thread over here and I was ready to count over and start another area. So I think we talked about this before. I'm not one who typically will stitch the entire border first. That makes me nervous. And I usually will do part of the border, use that as a reference point to count from. And so once I get a little bit more done here, I'll come ahead and extend the border some more. But this is a pretty large piece, so I definitely on this piece did not want to stitch the entire border.
Bex from Texas wants to know, how many years have you been cross-stitching?
I have been cross-stitching since the early 80s, so well over 40 years. And never really stopped. I hear and see a lot of people who say, well, I stitched back in the 80s or the 90s or whatever, and then I, for whatever reason, got away from it, and they've come back in the last few years to cross stitching. I never stopped. I never tire of it, and yeah, so I've been at it for a very long time. Then my next little bit of progress, though my progress is small, I did touch 5 pieces. So here is, this is the one, remember that I said, don't let this happen to you when I started this piece. Maybe it was late at night, I don't remember, I can't make excuses, but I started it with my fabric this direction and got enough done. I thought, oh, I'm almost to the midpoint, and then looked at my fabric and thought, wait, and I had started it the wrong direction on the fabric. So this was a restart. This was months and months ago, but I decided this is a piece I want to work on in 2026. So this is a perfect example of my having my hoop in a certain area and not going up. You see, like the gentleman bunny has a tall top hat, and that is missing, of course, from his hat so far. But the reason for that, I didn't move my hoop just to do that. My hoop was lower down here, and so I stitched things within that area. And this is where I did take the needle out. I try not to always leave a needle hanging. This is on a 36 count Fiber on a Whim cappuccino, so it's 1 strand of floss over 2, and so when you have just 1 strand of floss, my needle can fall off quite easily. So the needle was taken out on purpose, but this is where I will continue stitching. So I'll put in quite a bit of this flower since I showed it last. I put in his sleeve and did a little bit more black on his jacket, and put in a cuff and 1 hand, and my hoop was here, so that I'll get in a little bit of his pants leg. So I did spend part of one day working on that one. And that is Love is the Key by Teresa Kogut. This one I thought maybe I could finish, but I didn't push it since I had the model stitch to do. But I don't remember exactly where I was when we showed it last, but I think right along here. I'm not sure that I even had this snowman completed, so I've added all of this, and I'm on the very last snowman. And I believe this is the first Bent Creek row I have ever stitched, and it goes really, really fast. And I have a spot I have in mind that I would like to put it. I have a finishing piece for it that I hope will fit. I'm afraid it might not be quite long enough. If the piece I have is not long enough to finish it on, it's a piece that we actually carried a year or so ago. It's a whitewashed oval. It's not a bowl, it's shallow, but it's not exactly a tray. But it's definitely in my plans to do more of the Bent Creek rows. This is winter row, and we have in stock, we've ordered several. This is Valentine row, which is really, really sweet. That one will stitch up really quickly. Use call for floss for winter row. For the Valentine row, I haven't even looked to see what this is just the cover, haven't looked to see what the floss colors are. I probably will change to a lighter red for the hearts and the words. And here's Shamrock row. These are just the ones we have in stock currently. There's one that's, I think, says Merry Christmas, that I love the font in. I definitely will want to be doing this one. This is Spring row. So bees and flowers and a ladybug. It's really sweet. This one is titled Begin. It says the journey of 1,000 miles must begin with a single step. So the journey of a huge stitch begins with that first stitch. So here is my next piece. I think I noticed that the pumpkin patch fabric is sold out again, or sold out. But if so, I'm assuming it's on order. So we've had January 31st since I showed this last, so I did work on it a little bit, just a few strands of black floss I put in since I showed it last time. But I believe all of this tree so far, there it's, let's see, right here, so there's more over here, but I did all of this black and some of this area around it. This is on 32 count Be Stitch Me pumpkin patch linen. This pattern does use all DMC, calls for 7 skeins of DMC black, and I haven't kept track. I'm not sure how much at this point I have used, but there's my little bit of progress on Witch's Hollow by Autumn Lane Stitchery. Just saw their new market pieces, and there's a very small Halloween one that I thought that might be Kevin's next stitch.
For your winter row, what fabric?
Yes.
Color are you using again?
And I believe we ordered it. I think we have it in stock. I am using Glacier. I pictured this piece. It's a really nice, color doesn't read 100% true on camera. It's a really nice icy blue.
What count is it?
This is 28 count, which I chose. That's typically not my favorite size to stitch on. However, this little guy is so small, this direction, I wanted it to be a little bit larger, so 28 count. I also wanted to use, sometimes I choose a fabric depending on how much color saturation I want. And I knew if I went small enough that I wanted to use 1 strand of floss, the design would be too tiny. So sometimes I will choose, in this case, a 28, but 32 if I want to use 2 strands for color saturation. So that's why I used the 32 on the pumpkin patch, because with all that black, I wanted all that strong color saturation. And the last piece that I touched, it didn't get much work, but it did get a little bit from the time you saw it last. I started this little green star up here, which was not started before. I got the roof. It is missing, yes, I know it's missing the chimney on this side, but it's just because I ran out of floss and it was time to put this away and work on the model stitch. I did some green on his sleeve, brought it all the way down here, and some of the green on this side. So not much progress, but a little.
I think that's a lot.
A
To
few-
Santa, that's a lot.
A few strands of floss make a difference.
Christine wants to know, have you ever done full coverage, and what is the largest piece you have done?
I have done
Lots.
quite a few.
She made me one.
I did. I stitched Kimberly one years ago when you moved into a new house.
Yes, I still have it.
I
I see it every day.
can show you some pictures at some point if you would like. I've done.
What's that brand you use?
Well,
The-
it was
the company.
Mystic Stitch,
Oh, yeah,
but they are
Mystic
no
Stitch.
longer in business.
Oh, I didn't know that.
They are no longer in business. I've not
Oh.
ever done Heaven and Earth, but Mystic Stitch I probably have done maybe a dozen. The largest one I've ever done is one that hangs over my mantle in the fall through Thanksgiving, which was a cornucopia, and we've shown it on a live stream. It's probably The framed piece, I'm gonna say, is probably 36 by 24, maybe, something like that. It's huge. And it took a long time. I've done Van Gogh's Stormy Night, which was a full coverage. I've done my daughter a couple or three.
I was like, a couple.
A couple, yeah. I've done her. Yeah. I've done her several pieces. So at some point, if you guys would like to see them, I can show some pictures. And then this is the most of my plans, is to keep working on these. But we got this in, I don't even remember when we got it, but I'm a heart collector. All things hearts appeal to me, and I actually love the scripture, and I love the bunnies. This is Artful Offerings, and I have stitched 2 or 3 of theirs, and really like their patterns. So as soon as I saw this, I bought this pattern. I will shop my stash for linen, but looking at it, I'm thinking maybe Fiber on a Whim Milk and Honey would be a good one, and I did go ahead and pull my call for.
Did you pull it from your stash?
Oh, what?
Did you pull it from your stash?
The floss?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think
Okay.
when I bought the pattern, I just did the,
Add to cart.
yeah. I'm sure that I probably could have pulled from my stash, but I did not. So that is my plan, and I think that's it for me. And
Okay, you show what's
hopefully-
in your bag. Show your bag.
Well, okay.
No. Yeah, show this, both bags.
Both bags, okay. This bag was a little pouch that's, it's one of Teresa Kogut's fabric designs. And this is the bag that I have my floss in for, the Santa. And right now, I don't even have it on a ring. So in here, I have a needle tube, just DMC flosses. This needle is my favorite needle. I still have a very large stash of Pat Carson's needles, so those are 26. I wasn't using a 28 at the time nearly as much as I do now. Anytime I stitch on a higher count now, I use a size 28 needle, and this is the Edmar, which is my favorite 28. It has a gold eye, and 4, I believe, per tube come in these little storage tubes. So just about every floss bag, I have a floss bag with each project, and they have a tube or 2 of those. This little bag I've had for years, and this is my kind of everything bag. It has 2 or 3 different things of scissors, my little tulip curved scissors. I don't know that you can't tell that it's curved, but little curved scissors that are my tulip. Packages of needles. Let's see. This, I think, this is just a little Moda tin that actually was from several years ago. This has unstitchers. It has a little needle threader. I don't often use that, but it stays in there. A little screwdriver if I'm using a hoop that needs to be tightened with a screwdriver. I do occasionally use a seam ripper, and this is my favorite seam ripper. I did buy it here. I'm not sure that we have them in stock right now, but what I love about it is it fits in this little tin. It flips up, so there's your seam ripper, and then it folds back down, and it's one of my favorite little tools. Snag Nabbit, I always have in here. If you pull a thread through from the back accidentally, you can use if you don't know what a Snag Nabbit is, see if I have one that's loose here that you can really see. here's, I believe this one is Clover. Dritz has the one that's called Snag Nabbit, but this is a Clover and it has 2 different sizes. So it's pointed like a needle on one end and almost like it's a little threaded end on the other. So you just put the needle down by the thread that you've pulled through accidentally, and as it goes through, this little threaded end, almost like the threads on a tiny little screw, that grabs the thread and pulls it back through to the front. So that works on your clothing too. If you ever have a snag on your clothing, it will pull that back through. So that stays in that little toolbox. A couple of little wonder clips in there, a little ruler. There's typically a corner gauge in here, but it's laying on my stitching table right now. So I think that's it for me. Is there another question?
I think that's it. Thank you so much. They're so excited that you still have Pat Carson needles.
I do, yes, I do. I'll come get that.
You're fine.
I'll come get that later.
And then Denise has lots of progress and a demo.
I'll start. Good morning, everyone. I'm going to start with a demo first, just because Jordan has to get the camera situated. But this is the hoop that I showed the last time, the stand, the Nerge stand, and I use the pin stitch. So Jordan, I'm just going to leave it here and then have you fix it, the camera. So a pin stitch is essentially you're doing it from you're starting your stitch from the front. So that's great. Can you go a little bit more, please? Yeah, that's fine. I do one strand, and you can do the pin stitch with one strand. You can also do it with 2 strands, and I'll show both. No, I know. So this piece right here is a Salem sampler that I'm stitching. It is 32 count fabric, and I still use 1 strand with it. So when I do the pin stitch, my needle's threaded. Let me orient myself. My needle's threaded just like normal. Here's my tail here. Instead of coming up from the back, I start in the normal spot, which is I do my leg, my first leg going from bottom left to top right. So I come down in the bottom left, pull my thread through, and then I leave a little tail, just like you would do on the back. I hold it, and then I come up through that center stitch right there. So usually, you would be, this is the hole that you would be hitting, but you're going to come up through the center. Oh my word, of course that would happen. Hold on. I'm not used to doing it on camera. So go in, hold your tail, come up through the center, pull until, you can't go anymore, and then you come back down where you started. And this locks it. So you essentially have made, your quarter stitch. Then I come back up through the top right to complete the other quarter stitch and finish off my leg. Then I go, that's going down in the center. So then that's your half stitch. Right now I am tugging. and it's not going anywhere. So then before I continue, then I cut that tail. Let me find my scissors in my bag of tricks. No, I have them here. And then I just get as close to the edge. And then I continue cross stitching like normal. I do this, the pin stitch, because I don't want to have to unhoop and flip to the back and hold and keep on flipping when I'm using my stand. If I'm working in not using the stand, then I do the normal, that I do the tail on the back. It just saves me time doing the pin stitch. And then, you know, you continue going. And my thread, doesn't come undone. It's important that you do get it as close to the edge when you cut. If, you know, you don't get that close, you can just take your needle or the unstitcher and just kind of like shove it back down in the hole and it'll disappear. When you do 2 strands, let me rethread. It's a little bit easier and more secure than doing 1 strand because you're able to split your 2 threads, making it easier, or making it better for the anchoring, I should say. So let me do, getting my strands. I'm just going to do it off to the side of this piece rather than we rehoop it. I do use the pin stitch when I'm doing a confetti stitch rather than leaving the tail. So the pin stitch is just the technique, just like the loop, you know, rather than me starting with the loop method, I'm starting with the pin stitch. You can do the pin stitch for a confetti stitch. You can do the pin stitch if you're doing a whole row. It doesn't matter. It's just a way to start. I'm trying to thread a 2 strand on a 28 count, 28 size needle. So for 2 strands, it's the exact same way. Let me do it here off to the side. Rather than coming up through, or going down, excuse me, in this hole, you go down in the center. You hold your tail, and then you complete your quarter stitch. You can start from the bottom or from the top. I go from the bottom. So I come up through bottom, left, and then to anchor it, I split the 2 strands and I go down through, I don't know if you can see that, through the 2 strands, and I'm still holding. I still have some tension here on my finger. I pull down, then I come up to complete the other quarter stitch to make, you know, the half stitch, still splitting the 2 strands as I go down in the center. And it's very secure. Like I'm tugging, not going anywhere. From here, I then cut as close to what I can. Curved scissors would be great for this. And then here, if there is a little bit of extra like fuzzy from your stitches, it gets covered with your last leg of your X. So come up like normal, and then when you stitch, that top leg covers and how you did your quarter stitch on that first stitch, and then you would keep stitching as normal. when I finish stitching, I tie off on the back. I don't tie off from the front. I would end up probably cutting stitches if I did that way. But that's how I do the pin stitch.
Can you do the pin stitch on Ada cloth?
You probably could. I would recommend not to. I have never done it. I would be afraid to split, you know, the weave of it. I will fix this later. But we're good, Jordan, for the tutorial. So that's pin stitch. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer. As Jordan gets the camera situated, for progress, you've seen the pins and pin cushions. I stitched on that because I had wanted to get that one done and off to the framer, because hopefully this week we get a call back from the framer that the next hometown neighborhood is ready for pickup. So I saw someone ask about that. It's still currently at the framer. The ETA for it to be done was this week. So that's there at the framer, as well as another Lori piece that we haven't announced yet. So I'm excited for you guys to see that one. And then when I go to the framer, I'll take this one. So in stream last time, Lori talked about the frame and how she picked it and stuff like that. So this one is going to be super easy for Lori and I because it's the same frame. It's the same measurements for the framer. So it'll be a very quick visit. And then after that, I'll start the next one, which I have started just to get about like a couple stitches in, just so that I could orient myself whenever I start. So this is pins and pin cushions, and then in order to do the demo for Cherry Love, I had stitched the pillow. So that way I could show you guys how to do a finishing. So this one I had also stitched during the last time you saw my progress. Oh yes, can you end with the pin stitch? I honestly don't know. I have never done it. I want to say you probably could. I don't know why you couldn't. I have never done it, so I don't want to say anything misleading or wrong on that end. Leslie Kendall, she does the pin stitch on Ada cloth, so you can in fact do it. I'm just not, I don't stitch on Ada that often, so I'm a little uncomfortable in, you know, telling you guys for something that I don't do. This is the progress that I've done on Salem Sampler since you've last seen it. I finally started working on this flower. I did a big decision and I finally cut down my fabric. So instead of that full blanket that I was carrying around, I have my piece. I'm gonna have to borrow those pinking shears to cut my edges because they're starting to fray a little bit. But my goal was to get the whole border and everything down before I cut down my piece and measured everything, but I was getting very frustrated with all that like weight and bulk, and then my bag was like very bulky as well. So I'm hoping that I can finish this. Right here is the edge of the design, so I'm hoping I can finish that this month and already work on here. The Salem text, when I said it last, is one strand over one thread, and that has been tough. I really have to count. I have to have good lighting. I'm not used to that, and I feel like this is this fabric is by Be Stitch Me. It is one more reproduction, and the holes are a little bit smaller on this Lugana, so it's making it a little bit tougher. I swear these holes are smaller than 40 count sometimes when I'm looking at it. Oh yes, the cover. So this is, I'll show you my floss keeper in comparison to Shelly. She's probably going to be like, oh my god, that's a nightmare. So this is the piece, Salem Sampler. I absolutely love it. This we're keeping up year round in our house. The Halloween sampler that I did by Teresa Kogut, that stays up year round in in our house. We don't take it down just for the season or put it up just for the season. But I'm working behind the scenes on a tutorial for this. Well, this was right now during a stream that I made this mess, but I'm working on a tutorial right now for this thread keep. So this is pretty much the final piece of what will demo come March, but I just honestly just throw my floss on here, since right now I have a pretty good memory. I know exactly what color's what and where it goes. So I kind of just leave it like thrown on there, and then I'm ready to go. Then my needle just snaps there, and then I have all my thread. I keep the pattern in here. I don't keep the project in here. This is literally just for supplies. I'll even throw like the Wonder Clip, like, because I too use the jumbo Wonder Clips. I'll just throw them in here. And then in this project bag are like 4 projects. So then I just put like, this is all the thread and the pattern for that one project. And then I just put it in this bag, and then I just put the fabric just like shoved in there.
And that's just a Mad for Plaid big bag, right?
Yeah, it's just our normal Mad for Plaid bags, like the normal size, but they really,
I'm shocked that all fits.
like, it really fits. And then so that way when we stitch at lunch, it's like I have an option. I have 3 projects here ready for me to pick up. So that's one that I worked on. The other one is Christmas Market, and I am loving how it's coming out. Let me fold it in half. This is stitched on Fiber on a Whim, 40 count Affogato. So I am completely done with the centerpiece, other than the cheeks. I have not put the cheeks in yet. That's the last thing. But this is the design. I'm gonna have to go back and watch the stream of how Kimberly did her eyes for these, that she did the demo, or maybe it was a reel, because I tried French knots. I think that's what they're called for. I tried for a solid 20 minutes. I got frustrated and I said, I'm not doing that. I was getting it, like it was going good, but then like I had the 2 eyes in and they looked wonky, like one eye was bigger than the other, and I'm like, that's gonna drive me nuts. So I'm either going to do beads, or I'll do what Kimberly did for her monthly mini village. I'll see when I get there, since this is over one strand. Even though it's on 40 count, I don't know if I'll still be able to see the eyes doing Kimberly's way. I think I should be able to, since it's smaller, but we'll see. And then I kind of went out of order of how the patterns released, and I did have a reason as to why. So on Country Cottage Needleworks website, she released this one first, which is the Christmas Market banner. Then she released the Christmas cake stand. This one. And this chart is supposed to go here. And she says on her website you're to leave 1 stitch horizontally and 1 stitch vertically. I was afraid I was going to get off of somehow like counting from, because I have to count from this stitch, go diagonal, count over, and then on 40 count. I was like, you know what? This third pattern is already out, the ornament stand, which goes directly above. I'm just going to stitch that one first, and then I'll go back and I'll add the cake stand here, just because I wanted to make sure, everything was centered. 2 of the patterns fit this width here. So when I stitch pretty much all in one sitting, because it goes so much faster than this piece. For some reason, I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna have this one done. This is gonna be so quick. And then I realized, I was like, oh, two of them. That's why this one took me longer, because two of these are this same width. So hopefully I can finish this this weekend. So that's progress on Christmas market. Where did you get the folded floss keeper? I made them. So next month in March, we should, we have a date set. I'm not gonna say it just in case it changes. This is another prototype that I had made. It just this doesn't have a zipper. I didn't like the thickness here. And then I didn't add snaps. So I have done a series of testing for this video, but come March, assuming all the supplies are here for you to grab this, the materials, we'll be doing a demo on how to make it, and it will be live, so you can ask questions live. Denise, how did you stitch the snowflakes? Did you carry the thread over? I probably did. I'm the type, this is my back, I don't have a great back.
I can't even tell.
No, I didn't. So this is like, it's one stitch. The only place I carried is here within the trees. Here. But each stitch within here is its own. Do colonial knots, they're better. Okay, this is gonna be a dumb question, but I don't know the difference between a French and a colonial.
We can schedule Cheryl to do a demo on both. She showed me colonial knots.
Is one like you do a figure 8?
One you go left and one you go right. The twist.
Oh, hi, sissy.
Yeah, so one is left and one is right. We can schedule that as a demo.
Yeah, Cheryl, I'm gonna have to phone a friend at lunch today for her to show me.
So she showed me, and to be honest, like, I couldn't get either to work, but that's just me.
I mean, I at least want my eyes to look even. I don't even think Jordan saw me do it, because I know he would have been like, no, hard no, like, you're not doing that. So those are my only two pieces, but I will tease something. So I've been busy stitching the next stitch March's Stitch Quarterly, and I love it. Just as a reminder, I brought the fabric. Is the fabric in that bucket, or did I throw it in my bag? Oh, I threw it in my bag. So the fabric that's called for is 28 count espresso by Witchell. Because I love 32 count, I decided to do it on 32. This was very difficult for me to stitch on darker fabric. I definitely had to use a light underneath. I used my iPad, but it was harder for me to stitch. Witchell linen, if you've never stitched on it, it is crispier than your normal Zweigart linen, even a hand-dyed linen. It is crunchy. So this is just a reminder that this is the fabric that's used. The piece is fairly small. I will say it is a rectangular shape rather than square.
You can show the back. Kind of.
Let me go like this, and I'm gonna go very quickly. You just kind of go, slow it down in speed if you would like to see. But we have, and let me pull it up on our site so I can say the name correctly, this small, soft, white wooden easel display. This right here that can kind of hint the shape of the design is perfect for this piece. So I am painting this to match the colors. I think this will be our first time painting one of these displays. And then I will list all my finishing of, what paint I use, if whatever trim, fabric, prior to the shipment going out. And I'll also list it on the insert if you're in the club. That way you have an idea of where to start for finishing. Kathy also finished it differently. I will say she did use a finishing board from 141 Design. and then she added some trim to it. But her finishing is also listed on the pattern, so it's just a way for you to have two finishing options, and however, you know, you wanna finish it. So yes, I'm so excited. It turned out really good. Now I'll FFO it today or tomorrow, pass it off to our photo team so that they can get started on the insert. That's literally the last thing. Everything is here. So it's literally just waiting for the insert and for the piece to be done. So hopefully that'll be done soon. Question, is that a Lori Holt fabric that you use for your thread keeper? So this one, well, I've made many. This one's Blueprint. This is actually, Kimberly had leftover scraps from Blooming Scrappy for the quilt-along, so I used Blueprint there, and this is just Atkinson zipper.
Atkinson Designs.
Yeah, Atkinson Design zipper, and then the snaps were from Amazon. This was the tester one that I did for to try out some materials I wasn't really a fan of. I literally ripped the whole thing apart and I redid it. This is Scrappy Americana fabric. And this is what held my Stitch Quarterly. And I used Lori's double zipper for that. And then this fabric, I know it's not a Lori fabric,
It's Riley Blake.
but I pulled it from my stash, so I have no idea.
I think it's just an older Riley Blake fabric, but
I have no idea what it is. So yeah, so I have literally 3 projects in here, and the fabric, you can kind of see a sneak. I just throw it in there. Last question, can I talk about using silk floss like I did on my wedding sampler versus cotton floss? What brand of silk does she like? So for that piece I did NPI silk for the wedding sampler. I absolutely love silk. It is a dream to work with. I saw someone asked if any of us use thread conditioner. I don't think any one of us uses thread conditioner. Silk, you don't need, like, even if you do use thread conditioner with silk, it has such a beautiful glide to it. Then this is thread conditioner, by the way, from Lori. But silk has such a beautiful glide. It doesn't shred. It doesn't, split or anything. My favorite, 2 brands that I like are NPI, because it gives you the solid, just like DMC does, so it's not over dyed or anything, or variegated. So if you want something solid, NPI. But then Belle Soie is my second for that variegated look on that. So yeah, that's all my progress. Thank you guys.
thank you, Denise. So I wanted to show you, Kevin is having a Valentine's Day cross-stitch sale, and he has 150 items on there, and Alicia just picked some just to show you. So there's like patterns, floss, kitchen towels. This one's really cute. Some stitching with the housewife ribbon. This cute little heart tray, I might have to keep this. And, just patterns, floss keepers. This is a cute little charm. And then Kevin put this on sale. So this might sell out since we're getting low on these. So that is through February 15th, which is Sunday at midnight Central Time, or until it runs out. You don't need a code. You just go to the link, and it should be pretty easy to find on our site. And this is kind of like a stone. It's super cute. Also, our notion of the month for cross stitch is 25% off all needle minders. And so I just wanted to show you, we have, Bev McCullough has some. This one is brand new from My So Quilty Life. We carry Kimberbell. Of course, all of Lori Holt's notions. These are her larger ones. This one is brand new. So kind of get it on sale while it's brand new. And then this is a gingham floss organizer by Cherry Hill Stitchery. And there's little magnets right here. So you can put a needle, you can put 2 needles on here. So just to let you know, those are on sale until the end of February. And then we have new patterns. So I'm going to show you new patterns. These, there are 5 tier tray tidbits in the seeds by Stitching with the Housewives. So there's red rose seeds, garden gate seeds, bleeding heart seeds, sweet pea seeds, and bachelor button seeds. So those are all available. Those came out in January of 2026 PDF. And then Quack Jar was the last of their swans. And then they're starting their spring roundabout, and the first 2 are Bless Our Nest and Hop On By. This is a really cute wood cutting board from Hobby Lobby, and the numbers on the back, but I really like that finishing. Croquet A Go-Go, I know I'm saying that wrong, Cheryl's not over here. This is Love, and I think this one's really cute. Alicia said she might stitch it. I think it's super cute, but boy, I'd be scared to stitch all that white. Green Sweater Weather, Blue Sweater Weather. So even, you know, they're different sweaters, but the little side pieces are different. And then the Stitching Bunny. This is really cute. So it's a sampler. It has the alphabet, the year, scissors, thread, super cute. Rosewood Manor has this new pattern called Celebration. We did sell out of it, I believe, but I did order more yesterday. This one has been super popular. The fabric she stitched on, let me see. I saw it at one point. The fabric she stitched on is 32 count linen. The color is Michelle from Grace Note Fabrics, and that's this. So this fabric, that's not stitching, it's the fabric. We got some new heart and hand items in, and so of course I always love them, and I've stitched so many of these. This is a Love Triangle. This is 3 patterns in one, and so I'm gonna cut this down. And I'm going to use Shelly's method of using the scissors, because I don't know why we haven't been doing that for all these years. And I'm going to use this pale gray gingham. And did you just pull this from upstairs? Or my stash?
Some of it was from your stash.
Okay, so some of it was from my stash. So we're going to use Ribbon Red, Cherry Tomato, Little Pink Peony, Shrimp Cocktail, and Cherry Tomato. Oh yeah, these are from my stash. So I'm just going to play with it, and I'm just going to stitch them, and then Denise is going to do them in pillows. And the way we picked some of the colors, some were called for, but also we have that leftover fat quarter bundle from the tutorial she just did. And so, you know, instead of buying something new, we already have the fabric. She's already done the tutorial, and she can just finish them using this. And this is something fun I can do. I'm going to be on a plane, so I can probably get these all done and pretty quick. And then I'm tempted. This is the 2026 Collector's Heart. And if you purchase it, it comes with the fabric and the thread. I'm going to read you the fabric info so I don't get it incorrect. It's inside with the pattern. So the pattern it comes with is 32 count platinum linen, and it comes with this thread. It's called the Marooned in Love by Cottage Garden Threads. If you look, these are 2 different colors in one skein. The darker maroon fabric is called Leather Bound, and the lighter pink thread is Vintage Rose. And these are 19-inch increments, and that's how they're cut. So you would just pull it apart, and you would just eyeball it to make it. So I thought that would be kind of cute. So I thought I could do that, or I could just do this with these colors. So I don't know. I'm just going to take it with me. I'm going on a little trip, and I'm just going to stitch my little heart out, and we'll see what I get done. And this piece is big enough to make probably double of all these. And this, let me show you the fabric it comes with. So it's 32 count linen. So if I stitch this, I will basically give this, I won't throw this piece away. I'll give it to, you know, whoever works here that wants it, you know, Denise, anybody who wants to use it, you know. But I can guarantee I'm not using that. And I just, yeah, there's no way. I was getting frustrated the other day with something and I thought, why am I doing this? Like, I don't know. Like, just do what you love. Don't do stuff that's too out of your comfort zone, is what I feel like. Kara Lynn has Liberty Tiny Tags. These are super cute. Bless you, sampler. It says, the Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine on you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face toward you and give you peace. And then signs of love. And this one I think is almost sold out, but I'm reordering them.
I know I reordered them this morning.
Oh, okay. Alicia already did it for me. Tiny Modernist. These are the two that came out right before a needlework market. Birthstones and Flowers and Winter Foliage Tree. This one, it does have a lot of back stitching on the flowers, just so you know, since we do get that question a lot. And there was a question for this. Me, Alicia, and Denise are going to be going to Nashville Needlework Market. Usually Cheryl goes, but she has something to do this year, so I'm going. And it'll be fun. I'm most excited about the dinner I plan. My new thing is just have a good dinner and I'm good. Okay, this is the Consider the Lilies that was from the live stream where Lori showed that she was stitching it. So we're stocking it and just wanted to show it to you with the cover. There are two new patterns from Fig Tree, Gertrude the Goose, and then Spiky Rose. Now I wanted to talk about this pattern a little bit. There is a not Spiky the Rose, there is a Spiky Rose quilt pattern. So this is the coordinating cross stitch pattern. It is just this. And it's kind of deceiving, but it's full coverage. So that's 100% full coverage. And then the bag pattern is not included. She said she was going to put some details on the bag on her blog. As of last night, it was not there yet. So just so you know, the pattern is really just for this. We got two new Thread Milk Easter floss drops. There's a set 1 and a set 2. I'm going to kind of, what do you call these?
Milk caps.
Milk caps.
Thread drops.
So some are the little milk. They're so cute. I feel like I just want to go at Needlework Market and just go in her booth and just buy all of them and just have them and like make artwork out of them or something. They're so cute. Oh my gosh. It would be fun to just work for her and just punch these out. I love looking at this stuff. Sorry, yesterday I was just like going through it. Super cute. Okay, so we started carrying crochet yarn, thread, whatever you want to call it. So we have a lot of Juniper Moon thread. So we have a lot of solids, variegated, and I love working with Juniper Moon thread. We got these two merino. Basically, it's part cotton, 50% cotton, 20% polyester, and then 30% wool. And these both have metallic, and selfishly, I bought them for myself because I'm going to try it out. Now, I don't know if I'm going to be successful because it is thinner, but we'll see. I'm going to show you some other yarn, and then I'm going to show you the crochet blanket that I made with it. So this is another company, Ikagi Fiber. I don't know if that's how you say it, but I bought some of this at a local store, and it's so cute. So we have this little chibi pack, and it's 1 dozen 100% wool mini skeins. I've never used wool, so not sure. I'm going to show you first the next thread that I used in my blanket. So these are just different colors. You can search the brand, and this one is Cloudy Twist, Matcha Latte. This is the one I sent my brother into the store with his pajamas on to pick up for me. French vanilla, rose, rose twist, raspberry twist. Okay, let me take this one out. Okay. Wild salmon twist, and then wild salmon. So some of them have a solid and a twist, like these two. These two go with this. And then these two colors, I use this one in my blanket. This one is Tiffany. I did not use that, but I did use a lot of this one, which is cadet blue. And then here are some other colors I did not use. This is raspberry twist. I bought a lot of it and I sewed, what do you say with crochet? You stitched. I don't know, I stitched. I made a block with it and it looked like a hot mess. We got black, which of course I didn't use, and then purple, which is really pretty. It's called lilac. But I'm going to show you the blanket. It is, the weight of this yarn is, it's 75% merino and 25% alpaca. And I'm looking for the
So weight 5.
weight 5. Thank you, Denise. Okay. So let me hold it. Is that fine? And then then I'll talk about it in detail. Okay. So it's ginormous.
Bring it down.
It is, let me see. I have to see. Okay. So this is basically granny squares. I'm going to go in detail, but it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 6 by 8. So it's 48 squares. And so with those colors, this is just a basic granny square. You can use Lori Holt's video to make it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 7 rounds, normal. And then I did 2 double crochet, 1 chain 1, 2 double crochet in each corner, and a single crochet across, which ended up being 25 here. That way, when I joined these together, it was going to be nice and straight. So basically, it's just a granny square with with a 1 round of double crochets on the outside. This is the twist yarn. Oh, this is the twist. Yeah, this is the twist yarn in a different color. These are solids. And some I did solid, just like that. Some I used 2 colors. And so I just would carry my thread up and I just tried to make it as invisible as possible. Let me see. Oh, some I did this. Some I did 1 color in the inside, a different color on the outside. I just did different stuff. And this was just a project for me, just something personal that I wanted to do. So I literally just made a bunch of granny squares and put them together. And the way I put them together is just the same method that Lori Holt uses. It's basically, I single crocheted them across, chain 1, single crochet across, and that's really why I wanted to have this double crochet on the outside, because with the granny square, I wanted it to be very flat, and with the granny square, I wasn't sure, and I also thought it would look really good with, like, for example, like a solid and then the outside. And then I used a book I had at home, and this is basically just a single crochet, half double crochet, double crochet, half double crochet, single crochet, all the way across. And there is a chain 5 in here. If y'all want me to write the pattern, I mean, I guess I could, but this was really just something for fun that I made. This is how the back looks. So your join on the back, I'm trying to, like, you can see it. See the gray right there? Let me see. You can see this is the join right here, this little gray, these little gray stitches. So on the back, it's kind of invisible. There are tons of ways you can join granny squares, but I thought the ridge on the front was pretty. Emma thought that should be the back, but I thought it should be the front. And I sewed them into horizontal rows, and then I sewed all those together. And then because the single crochet does lay a certain way, you know, I made sure I did it the same direction each way so that one wouldn't be this way and one this way. But this was just a fun personal project. It's super heavy, it's super thick, it's gonna stay in my office, and I just thought I'd show you guys. I'm honestly just buying the yarns selfishly for myself, and I love it. Okay, now I'm gonna answer questions. I think it's so heavy. Okay. Camara asks, what do we do with all of the pieces when you have so many and you want to do more? We just make them, and then I have a whole closet full of them. Cheryl, we'll have to put that as a question for everybody to answer next time. Do I know what fabric Priscilla used for her new welcome sign? I believe she used 28 count Monaco white. Don't trust me on that, but I'm like 90% sure. Will the new Stitch Quarterly bags be the same size? Yes. Will you be using the same fabric throughout the Quilting Bee Club? Yes. Which brand of black covers the best on 14 count?
310.
310 is a great black. Some people say that Anchor black gives better coverage. Anchor is like something that, like, I don't know, we don't carry it, but you could probably find it at a Michael's. Is there going to be a new Stitching with the Housewives Quarterly Club? Yeah, I think so at some point. I don't think she's had time to do it. Which 14 count cloth would be a good match for the cloth Lori used in her Garden of Quilt? So in her Garden of Quilt, she used milk and honey. So I would just use Milk and Honey Ada. Yeah. Okay, well, thank you so much. On the blanket, I used one strand, and oh, this is funny. Sarah says, I like how it looks, but I think if I washed it, it would be destroyed. I just use it as decoration. But it was, I started it because my nephew was graduating college outside, and it was gonna be like 3 hours, and then my daughter was graduating high school, and I cannot sit still. And so I thought, well, you know, I can just sit there and crochet, and he won't notice because he's like 500 yards away. So I started that at my nephew's college graduation. So, and then I finished it at Christmas because I had extra time. So that's what we have today. Thank you to everyone who shared all of the progress. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to our channel and always put suggestions. You know, you saw a lot of the demos we did. That was by request. So if you put something in there and we think it's something that we know how to do and that we think, you know, we could teach you, we definitely will add it to our rotation. We will be back in 2 weeks, so we'll see you then.